Welcome back to Added Time, another week of women's football to discuss. So let's begin. I'm your host, Abbie McCarthy, and in my herd, I'm very lucky to have two goats. My co-hosts, Fran Kirby and Bethany England. Hello, you two.
Hello.
Hello.
Great to see you both, as always, and plenty of WSL action to discuss. But first, we need to celebrate you, Bethany England, because you've reached a milestone of 200 WSL appearances over the weekend. And on a personal note, you were one of the first players I got to work with in the game. And I quickly learned that you're not just a goal-scoring machine, you're also a brilliant person as well. You were so welcoming and kind and funny. Fran, obviously, Beth is one of your best mates. You've had so many great moments together on the pitch, off the pitch. What would you like to say about your favourite and mine, the amazing Bethany England?
You know, you could have messaged me and I could have got something ready. You put me on the spot now.
Just say well done and move on. It's fine.
No, I can't say that because you're always so nice about everyone else. No, I think, it's you're someone who completely deserves it, deserves all the accolades that you've achieved in your career so far. And I think a lot of people see the goals, they see your passion, they see your energy, they see your leadership. But I think what I have seen so much for your career is your resilience and how, not everything has always been so swimming for you. I think obviously you joined Chelsea and got shoved in at right wing back sometimes and you had to suck it up and get on with it, and then getting sent out on loan, obviously not a nice feeling to have to leave a club that you've signed for, and you absolutely smashed it. And then obviously, moving to Tottenham at the time, obviously I know how much you loved Chelsea and how much you loved being at the club, and that was a big moment for you, but you went in there and you took it in your stride and helped the club basically stop getting relegated from the WSL. So I think the resilience piece for me is why you've achieved everything you have. And as Abbie has said, you are also an absolutely fantastic person and you deserve all the credit and everything because you're the person that's done that and no one else has done that. And your mindset is, second to none. So we love you and we're really, really proud of you.
Have we made you blush enough yet?
Honestly,
Beth?
I think I could cry. I actually think I'm welling up. I was like, oh, God, stop. I was like, just stop talking. Oh, that's so sweet. Don't. If anything, I just feel old now. Look, I think you've actually got a bit of a tear out of me there, Fran. That was really sweet. Thank you. I appreciate that.
No, it's true. And that was just coming out, by the way. I wasn't prepared. So, that was meaningful.
It was perfect. So thank you. Both
That's
of you.
what
Thank
I
you very
wanted.
much.
I wanted off the cuff emotion, and that was absolutely gorgeous. Okay, then let's debrief on
enough about you. Now
back to the football. Enough about Bethany England. Let's debrief on this weekend's games. And first off, the Manchester derby at Old Trafford. Absolutely massive game on paper, but watching it, you would not believe it was first against second, would you? Man City completely in cruise control, United just giving the ball away, and if you give the likes of Viv Miedemar that much space, it's always going to come back to bite you, isn't it? A really solid performance from City and a pretty poor one from United, I thought.
Yeah, they struggled massively, United. And I think as well, we spoke about it in previous episodes in terms of their squad depth and their rotations. And they had a hard midweek game against Bayern Munich, really, really tough midweek game. So then have to pick yourselves up and then go again for a derby. It was always going to be tough for them. But I also think Manchester City this season are just on another level with the way that they play, the confidence that they're playing with, the style of play. Their second goal, I mean, if the goal comes off in the first instance in terms of the style of play, in terms of the moving, if the cross had got through to Miedemar in the first instance, I think it would have been goal of the season. The way that they play it out from the back, the movements, the 1-2, Bunny Shaw holding the ball up, coming across, switching the pitch. It was just total football, and they just look completely this season on a different level to everyone else. And I'm really excited to see, obviously they'll go on and play Champions League next year, how they manage that in terms of playing Champions League, playing League, because they're back in that system again now. They'll be back into it, playing 3 games a week. I think the extra rest has helped them with the players that they do have. Obviously, we know Miedemar has her injury problems. It probably helps her not having a midweek game every week to be able to give her time to recover. she's obviously on fire this season, but I think from United's perspective, I think the goals, I mean, I know we spoke about Mark Skinner, but it's just poor goals to concede in terms of the defensive structure, in terms of the marking in the box. We spoke about it last podcast about crossing and marking in the box. You know, you saw Miedemar peel off the back of Maya Letitia and she's completely lost her. You can't let Viv Miedemar free in the box. It's like when you're talking about Sam Kerr, you don't leave Sam Kerr free in the box. You've got to mark her, you've got to get contact, you've got to get hold of her, make her know that you're there, stop her from jumping, stop her from doing all of these things. And yeah, it just looked a bit like a deflated, tired Manchester United performance. Going forward, they didn't have the power, they didn't have the explosivity that maybe they would have had if they didn't have a midweek game. So it was always going to be a tough ask for them with the Champions League fixture and playing the best team in the league as well on the weekend. But yeah, I think they'll be disappointed that they couldn't give more of themselves, whether that was because of, you know, how good Manchester City are or just how poorly they played on the day.
City were just running wild, honestly. The likes of Bonnie Shaw, though, and Miedemar, obviously the players that get a lot of the headlines and the praise for being amazing at City. But I wanted to shout out Kasparai, who I thought was phenomenal in this game. So quick, covers a lot of ground to tap it in at the back post for City's third goal. Great link-up play on the right as well with Virginia. I just think she's a real threat, isn't she?
She is up there, I think, with one of the players of this season for me. I think her consistency, like we talk about how much like she can run up and down, but like her actual technical ability, the types of balls she plays, the types of crosses she's finding. I think there was a stat today saying she's one of the only defenders to register 10 plus goal contributions in a single season, or one of few. And I even looking at the cross she did for Viv's second goal, like she's not just like hit that in willy-nilly. She's put it perfectly in the middle of the goal, right where they need it, enough to beat the first player over Maya's head, whether her position or not is at fault regardless. But like it was lofted just precisely enough to not overhit, bang in the middle of the goal. You know your players are going to be there. The technical proficiency to do that. I think even her goal, like she's coming in at the back post, Bunny could have put her off because Bunny's jumped for the ball. Like if she's not paying full attention and watching the flight of that ball, she could easily miss that if she's thinking of that, oh, Bunny's probably going to score, which 9 times out of 10 in that position, Bunny is going to score. So I think there's a lot of credit goes to her for not only the way she reads the game, she's quick, she's got the athletic ability, technically she's great. And I think she really gives a lot to City in terms of she's had to play with different wingers on that right-hand side. She's had all sorts of different forward players in front of her. She seems to have found good connections with anyone that's put there with her. She connects well in terms of getting up and down the flanks. You've obviously got Lauren Emp on the other side crossing balls in at the back post as well. There's so many elements to a game that's been really impressive this year, which we know has been there, but I think it's definitely shone under the manager this year, playing out from the back. She's very calm and composed. She doesn't rush into decisions. She's been really impressive this year, and I think she definitely deserved the plaudits the other day for her game.
Yeah, it definitely feels like everything is clicking at Man City, but United's gaffer, Mark Skinner, under pressure now, serious pressure, rumoured to be under review as well by the club's hierarchy due to these, recent poor performances, the dropping of points when qualifying for Champions League is a priority for next season. What do you think? Should he get the boot, or do we see him riding out this storm? Because he used to complain that he didn't have the squad depth, but they've had good recruitment. How much time can we give him?
I think in the women's game now, it's becoming so much more cutthroat. It's becoming more now. We need to see results for what we're giving you. And, there's of course was the talk about the owners not backing the women's team, not giving him the resources. And he's been at the club for a long, long time as well. I think we have to take that into account as well, as like what he's done there. Obviously, they won an FA Cup, got Champions League. Do you give him more time to go, right, okay, we've given you a January, we'll let the players settle, we'll give you a summer, but next year we need to see more silverware. We need to see a trophy. We need to see Champions League. We need to see these things. But he's been there a long time. So you can understand why also they go, maybe he's not the right man to get us there. Maybe he's not the one that can get us across the line. But I think I still don't think the depth is enough to be able to play a midweek game against Bayern Munich. You know, we're not talking about group stage anymore. We're talking about knockout football against the best of the best team in Germany for however many years now in a row. It's not going to be easy. And then you're going to play a derby on the weekend. It's not an easy kind of week for him. But is his time running out because he's been there such a long time and maybe he hasn't produced what the club would have expected him to do? Maybe also the players who have been there for a long time need to freshen up. Sometimes you need new ideas. So, you know, you saw it at City. They've brought in a new manager. He's freshened it up, given the players a new lease of life. And, you know, they're performing well. Maybe United look at that and go, maybe we need to start thinking about the same thing.
Going to be interesting, that's for sure, over the next few months. Some good news, though, for Man United fans. Ella Toone is back in training after her injury, which we love to see. Another derby to dig into now, the North London derby at the Emirates. Before we discuss the game, I thought it was so lovely to see Kim Little's banner unveiled. Leader, legend, Little, all celebrating the fact that the Arsenal captain has signed a contract extension. She looked so emotional as well, kind of looking up to all the fans, you know, surrounded by her kids, her family were there. She's such an important player for Arsenal and undoubtedly a WSL great, isn't she?
Yeah, I think everyone could see the emotion in the day for her. Being at the Emirates as well, it's not just like it's any North London derby, it's at the home of Arsenal. For her, she is Arsenal. She epitomises everything that Arsenal is, and to have played that many games for a club that you love so much is testament to her, because we all know the injuries probably and setbacks she's had in her career whilst being there. She's been around a long time, and to still produce the level of football that she is and the qualities that she brings at her age. And that's not me being disrespectful in terms of writing off her age, but she's obviously been around a long time and she's still putting out stellar performances. And I think to walk out to a crowd like that, there was like 46 something thousand fans there, and to have that banner, I know it was a surprise for her, so that was probably really heartfelt. When I've watched it back, you could see on the TV how she's literally taken back by it. It was such a surprise. She was holding her emotions in, trying to get through it and breathe through it. And I think it's just testament to everything she deserves at that football club. Like, she deserves all the accolades, and she's an absolute legend. And I think for her to have been able to have celebrated, obviously it's really crap for on the other end being on my side, but for herself in terms of like celebrating that 400th appearance, home crowd, North London derby win, it was probably a very, very special day for her and her family. And regardless of like rivalry, I think from footballer to footballer, like, it's a huge achievement, and it was lovely to be able to have seen that for her.
Game recognises game. You touched on the tough nature of the game. I'm afraid we've got to get into that next. The final score, which I know you'll be gutted with, 5-2 in the end. Top finish from you, though. Bit of a tough angle, but you absolutely hammered it home. How did the game go from yours and Spurs' perspective?
I mean, as always, when it's tough results like that, and being a captain, you're the one that gets sent to the wolves and gets put in front of the media, and it's quite tough to almost answer what's gone wrong in the last 2 weeks. We've conceded 10 goals in 2 games, which is shocking. There's no beating around the bush of that. It's nowhere near good enough. I think we've obviously had quite a few individual errors that have creeped in, which has helped other teams score against us, which is annoying, because the problem is we'll make an individual error, teams will capitalise on it and score against us. Other teams make individual errors and we're not the ones capitalising and scoring on them. So I think that's the brutality of football. And for me, we are in a team sport, and even when Lisa made that pass where she tried to play it through for Alessia's hat-trick, straight away the girls are going round her, because they're like, she's human at the end of the day, like, things happen, but you're in the game at 2-1 and you think, okay, we've got a chance of crawling it back, and then it goes 3-1 before half time, and you're like, again, it's another mountain to try and climb against Arsenal. As I say, I don't think we got anywhere near them in the first half in terms of pressuring them. We were late into first, second balls, strongly utilised like the balls in behind. Like I said, individual errors. If I'm being really picky, could argue the first goal, Chloe Kelly trips up our defender that's marking Alessia Russo. Whether it looks soft or not, she does leave a leg out, trips her up in the box, makes Alessia free for the header. Great header, don't take it away from her. Second goal, obviously, I mean, it's a quality finish from Leicester because she knows there's going to be a recovering defender. Obviously, Toko's momentum's taken her one way and the ball's just gone the other side of it. And then we all know the third goal was just human error. Fourth goal, the cross should never have got in the first place. Should have done better defending to stop the ball out wide. We know when they're crossing balls. Even the finish, Caitlin Ford made it more difficult to finish from that angle than she did if she would have potentially gone to head the ball. And then the fifth goal is us pushing for another goal, caught out of position, sloppy turnover in midfield, couldn't regain the ball or couldn't get back to defend quick enough. And it's 5 goals in. It's really tough and disappointing. Sorry, I feel like I'm going off on one, but it's really tough and disappointing, obviously, like I said, conceding 10 goals, knowing how well we've done the first half of the season and to be getting the results that we're getting now. Granted, we're playing more of the top 4 in recent weeks and still to come. We've got Chelsea, obviously, and Man United. I feel like before we weren't getting punished for the errors we were making, whereas now teams that are in good form are deciding to punish us. Like, say, City have been on a great run. Arsenal, I think they've gone, 10 games unbeaten now? Going into a team like that in form, full of confidence, you can't be making those errors. And unfortunately, that's what we did. And like I said, we managed to scrape 2 against them, but again, it was another mountain to climb through our own wrongdoing, really. But it's a team collective, and we regroup and go again.
Yeah, tough day at the office. Russo getting a hat-trick, as you mentioned. So that is 4 goals for her in 7 days with that game and also the quarter-final in the Champions League against Chelsea. We know she can score great goals. We've known that for a while now, whether that's with Arsenal, with England. But I feel like this season she's showing her versatility a little bit more as a forward.
Yeah, I think, we've played with Alessia Russo, so we know how strong she is on the ball and how strong she is as a finisher. And I've always questioned whether she should be an out and out number 9 because I want her on the ball because she's a creative player. She's good on the ball. She's tidy in tight areas. And I think sometimes you might lose her a little bit if she's trying to stretch the back line or the ball's gone in behind, which of course she can still do. But I think her and Stina Blackstenius really complement each other. I think they work off each other really well. You've got Stina who stretches the back line so Russo can come and get on the ball. If Stina comes inside, then Russo makes the run. We saw that for Russo's goal. So I think having them two, they can just mix it up a little bit, but it gives Alessia Russo a bit more freedom. It gives her a bit more freedom to come and get involved in the play, which I think she's so good at. She's so good at with her back against the defender and twisting, turning, setting, playing other people, bringing other people into the game. So I'm really enjoying watching her being a little bit more free because I think getting her involved on the ball more will allow her to be in the game more, which is really important. I think sometimes she's drifted from the 9 to go and get involved, and then there's no one in the box. There's no one in between the 2 centre-backs. But now, because she has Blackstenius, she can go and drift, and she knows when the ball goes in, Blackstenius is going to be there, or vice versa. They're working off each other. So we all know what a fantastic goal scorer she is. We've seen that firsthand in shooting practices, small-sided games. We know that, but now I think she's showing that other side that we all knew she had, but she's been given the freedom and the confidence to go and do it.
Yeah, she's in fine form at the moment. Right, over to Kings Meadow, where Chelsea took on Aston Villa. 6 goals in the first half, 3 apiece. That definitely wasn't on my bingo card. I feel like there was some questionable defending from Chelsea for the first goal. There's that sloppy pass from Bronze. Hampton looked fuming. Is this fatigue at this point? What do we think went wrong?
I think Chelsea got a bit of a wake-up call. Obviously, was it 2-3 minutes in, Chastity Grant? I mean, what a ball, by the way, to her, because that was a pin-perfect cross. And the finish from the front post, like flick around, I think, again, it kind of come at Hannah so quick. Can you kind of blame her, or could she have done? But I think it was just a really tidy finish. And I think most keepers would struggle to react that quickly, that close, with the pace in which all she had to do was redirect the cross. Obviously, Hannah, as you touched on then, is getting a bit more angry at a defence. And I think you're seeing those frustrations come out of her more. I don't think I'm yet to recall a Chelsea game at the minute without Hannah kicking off. I even look into Kirsty Hansen's second goal, and you can debate that Lucy maybe got the wrong side of her to the point where she tried to push her as she's taken the shot. And I think we know Villa's got a really front, fast attacking line. Like they exploited that space well. Kirsty Hansen, as always, is a headache. Say Chastity Grant's quick. You've got Ebony Salmon, who's got the pace as well. And although obviously Chelsea got themselves back into it, obviously Sam scoring, you just look at it and you think they both look defensively weak. It felt like it could have just kept going. It was like a pinball game of like, who's going to score next? Oh, you'll have one. Okay, we'll get one. Okay, you'll have one more. You'll have another one. Okay, we'll get one back. And you kind of weren't sure where it was going to end. And obviously, Chelsea being Chelsea managed to get the win over the line and get a huge 3 points because they are still trying to chase for those Champions League spots as well. Considering Man United has lost their game, they're still chasing Arsenal. Well, obviously Arsenal's in the mix there. City have kind of run away with it, but nice to see Sam, as always, getting on the score sheet. I think she's got a lot of flack this season, but she's proven that even coming back from Asia Cup, which she was in good form in the Asia Cup, she's come back and produced a goal. So, okay, obviously with the winning goal, there's been a lot of questions around who should be starting in that midfield and who always seems to come up with the goals. She tends to be the one that is producing in those moments. So, and obviously, I mean, LJ, I don't know how many more words we've got for that girl. She just makes football so effortless and easy, the way she just takes a touchdown, drifts inside, does what she does. Obviously, she produced the cross for Germa as well. It was debatable whether she got a touch or not, but she just makes football look easy. And I think she's just a cheat code. I could be here all day talking about LJ, but yeah, what a game. What a madness. 6 goals in one half. And I think both teams look really vulnerable defensively, but also it was great to see so much attacking options on both sides as well.
Yeah, because you mentioned Hansen, brilliant for Villa, always a threat, causing real problems in this game. She's scored 12 goals so far this season. She's always just like a brilliant focal point for that Villa team, isn't she?
Yeah, she is, and she works extremely hard. I would say she's improved a lot technically as well. I think in previous seasons we've always known that she's quick. We know how fast she is. Everyone knows, but it's having that final product. It's having that final shot, that final pass. And I feel like this season she's really developed that part of her game in terms of finding the spaces in the box. You know, even to beat Lucy Bronze in a race, to then have someone kind of make contact with you and then make the finish that she did with opening up and slide into the corner. And then even in the second half, you know, absolute screamer, she hits the crossbar. If that goes in, you know, Villa are probably going into a back 6, locking up and just trying to see out the game. So I think she's someone who has really taken strides in her game this season because you can see that she's working on these things. It's not, these things don't just come to you, you know, obviously in terms of having that athleticism, but, you know, in terms of, it just looks like she's taken that final product to another level this season and it's showing and she's getting the results from it as well because she's scoring goals. She's involved all the time with whatever Villa do. And yeah, she's having a fantastic season for them.
Yeah, that one off the bar, that would have been some goal. But thank goodness Nusken got the job done, secured the win for Chelsea. And as you said, Beth, clawed back into the Champions League places. Most I've seen Chelsea celebrate all season. You could really see how much it meant to them. And it was derbies all over the shop this weekend, including the Merseyside derby, where Liverpool were looking for their first win away. And they got the job done, despite a pretty incredible turnaround from Everton to make it 3-2 in the end. What was your assessment of this game?
Well, first and foremost, I think it's so stupid from Grace Fisk to be getting sent off in the way she did. Like, your club captain already on a yellow card. Like, don't fall into the trap of being antagonised. And to be fair, obviously Everton played the card well and she got her sent off. But it was just such a reckless, probably heat of the moment thing, which has probably cost her team now for the next game when obviously they've started to pick up some really good points so far. They're in and around fighting against points between Everton as well. And it's just kind of like, was that really necessary to do that to your team and go down to 10 where you're putting them at risk when you're already, I think it was 3-1 at this point when she's been sent off. So it's like, was it even worth it? Probably not, because yeah, Liverpool definitely could have conceded more than what they did. And I think a standout player, which we just touched on then with Hansen at Villa, Kerry Holland, is almost, again, like Liverpool's it girl this season. She is just producing like time and time again, whether it's stepping up and taking the penalties, whether that's getting up defenders one, but she's a defender's nightmare. Again, she's athletic, she's quick, she's powerful, she can cut inside, she can go on the outside. She is causing people so many problems. So I think Liverpool did really well up until Grace Fisk getting sent off, and then they were lucky to see out the win.
What do you make of that initial challenge on Grace? Obviously, it's a total head loss from her, as we know. You should never retaliate like that. But that initial challenge where the player basically just bodies her, trying to wipe her out, the ref should be doing something about that.
Yeah, but she stands in the way. Grace Fisk is actively looking at the Everton player to block her. Yeah, okay, maybe she shouldn't go in with the force. If you're going to stand in the way, then you're bound to get hit, no? And I think as well, Liverpool still had the ball. They still had possession. If you want to foul for it, then stop play. I just don't think it's necessary from Grace Fisk. I think just take it, just, go to the ref the next time and say, did you see what she did? Just keep an eye on it. You also can, you don't have to kick someone and trip them up as, they run along. And to be honest, I'm always going after the officials here. So I'm going to give them a shout out in terms of, I'm glad that they saw it. I'm glad that they saw it because, it's probably happened in multiple games actually before and it's not been picked up on, whether that's a little tackle off the ball or little block or whatever it is. So I think it was, like the right decision, absolutely. And I agree with Beth that it definitely changed how the game felt for Liverpool in terms of going down to 10. But I mean, okay, maybe the ref could have taken her in the moment for running into Grace Fisk. But if you actually watch Grace Fisk, she's not even looking at the ball. She's not turning around. She's not sprinting to become an option for a goalkeeper because they have the ball. She could sprint out to get the ball from the goalkeeper, but she's actively just standing there looking at the Everton player. Because I think even if the Everton player moves the other way, Grace Fisk would take a step to the side. So I think the outcome will always be the same, regardless on, what was going on in that situation. But yeah, I think it was silly from Grace Fisk.
I can't believe it. Fran Kirby says something good about the officials. I'm so shook, but I've got to carry on doing the podcast.
I've got to be consistent.
Date and timestamp. Honestly, it's
maybe
going
we'll
down
get a penalty on Sunday. We don't know. Maybe.
Imagine. West Ham played London City Lionesses at home. Both teams taking a point with it finishing 1-1. Siren scoring to get West Ham level, which is such an important point for them, isn't it? Pulls them further away from that playoff spot. But what do we make of this game? Do you want to get your rant over with, Fran?
You go, Fran. You go.
I've already made everyone poised for what I'm about to say. No, I think it was a really important result for West Ham in terms of, like you said, for their relegation battle to pull themselves away a little bit more, gives them a little bit more breathing space. I mean, I don't think it's completely done yet. I still think there might be some more twists and turns in there, but it definitely helps with them. And obviously the first goal for London City comes off basically a London City mistake. Yana Fernandez passes the ball back to the goalkeeper, and we know that pitch down there, and we know that it can be a little bit bobbly and it can be a little bit, you don't know where the ball's going to land, and then obviously they counter off the corner. But I mean, it was a great counter attack from London City. You can see the numbers that they go forward with, and they are sprinting. And you watch the difference between the London City energy and the West Ham energy to get back. That's why they scored the goal for me. It's the intent that they sprint at to get back to make a difference and get a goal. And then obviously the West Ham goal. I mean, look, I fully rate that she's taken it on the volley from outside the box. Of course, I'm not saying, but I was a little bit disappointed with the media and their post on the goal and their caption on the goal, because I think we all know, I mean, I wasn't there, so I don't know the speed of the ball. I don't know if the ball moved in the air. But to me, it looked like it should have been a pretty comfortable save by the goalkeeper. I think anyone watching it would say. And I felt that what they posted, saying, for example, Screamer or Worldy or whatever it was, I felt it opened up an avenue for what women's football has always struggled with, and that is abuse, sexist comments. Women shouldn't play football. What's the goalkeeper doing? And I think doing that what they wrote really opened up a lot of abuse to the London City goalkeeper or women's goalkeepers in general. And I just don't think it's on. And I don't want to sit here and say that they knew what they were doing, because I would like to think that if you're working in women's football, you are an ally of women's football and you want to portray it in this way. And we want that, but not for goals that we don't feel is necessary to warrant that. And I think we've seen so many fantastic goals in women's football for so long that maybe haven't been given that caption, which should be given that caption. But then on the flip side, you have a goal like this, which just open. It's got over 1,000 comments on the post. It's got multiple shares, multiple views of just people completely abusing the women's goalkeeper at London City. And I just don't think it's on, and I don't think we should open ourselves up to that in women's football, because they wouldn't write that caption if it was a male footballer shooting against a male footballer. I honestly don't believe it. I think they would say something else in terms of the goalkeeper should have done better. But like I said, I wasn't there, so I don't know if it flew into the net and the goalkeeper lost it in the air. I don't know. But from me looking at it, it looks like the goalkeeper just got it completely wrong and should have made the save. I would expect my goalkeeper to make that save, to be honest. Yeah, I was a little bit disappointed with the wording of the caption. I appreciate that they want to help grow the game and they want to post it, but I just don't think that it should have happened in that kind of way.
I do think if you're using words like screamer, worldie, it really has to be something special.
Goes top left-hand corner and the goalkeeper's dived and she's put her arm out and she can't get there. Absolute no problem. But when I watch it back and I look at it, the ball kind of ends up in the middle of the goal. Like, in the middle and in the middle. It doesn't look like, but like I said, maybe it dipped and swerved and did all kinds of things in the air that I can't see, but I won't know. But I just felt that everyone else watching saw what I saw and probably had the same opinions that I had.
Not a top bin screamer, but it did get West Ham a point in the end. Gutting news for London City Lionesses and their fans, though, with Aslani sustaining an ACL injury in that game. I mean, that's a huge loss for them, isn't it? Technically, but for her leadership as well.
Massive, massive loss for them. And not just as, like you say, the technical player that she is, but the leadership that she brings, the aura she has on the pitch, the confidence. She's probably their biggest creator in terms of doing stuff on the pitch. So to lose a player of her caliber at her age to such a devastating injury as well is going to be not just physically, but mentally, like, thank God I've never had to go through it, but I can only imagine the questions in her mind now of how she will come back from this, given her age and everything else. And it's one of them where I hate to say it, but you just think 90 plus 7, like, had it not have gone on that long, could it have just not happened at all? And it's just one of them where it's like, it happens at like the very last part of the game and you just wonder, is it meant to have gone that way, or could it have happened differently? Or it's just one of them where you could be asking yourself questions all day long, but it's gut-wrenching for her team, for everyone around her, because that's going to be a long mental and physical battle ahead for her. And reading her post made me quite emotional the other day, because usually people would obviously put up how devastated they are, but it was like an essay of like her emotions at the time, thinking it was a bad dream. And I just thought, I can only begin to imagine what that feeling must be like, knowing that you've got that horrific news. And in the moment, everyone that you speak to knows that they know when it's gone. You have the certain sensation, you hear a pop, and just no one wants to see it. And sadly, we're still seeing it more and more and more in this game, whether that's through loading, the types of pictures, the types of, even down to the types of boots we wear as females, menstrual cycle, so many factors. But to have done it at, like I said, at this point in the season, at her age and at that state in the game, is just, yeah, it's beyond devastating, and my heart goes out to her and I wish her all the best with her recovery.
So tough to see. Sending Aslani all our love, of course. Last, but by no means least, your game, Fran. Brighton played Leicester City at the King Power Stadium. Fran Kirby had the black gloves on. That means it's business. And what a wonderful pass from you to set up Seike's goal.
Yeah, it was a good game by us, actually. I felt we really dominated the game. We went in with confidence. You know, we had a good performance against Liverpool, but just didn't get over the line. So we had some good confidence going into the game in terms of what we wanted to do. And we really wanted to set the tempo, which was a bit strange because obviously, of course, we wanted to get the win as well. It was really important for us, but I did expect a little bit more urgency from Leicester. I don't know why. Maybe because how the game panned out. Maybe they thought they'd slow it down as much as they could in the first half and try and go for it in the second half. Maybe there was that kind of element, but we were the ones wanting to take the throw-ins quickly, get the ball back in play quickly, wanting them to speed up a little bit. They were taking their time with things, and I maybe expected a little bit more urgency from them, but obviously we don't know what their tactics were going into the game. And yeah, we had multiple chances. There was a few in the first half where we just didn't create the right moment, where the decision making wasn't quite right. People were shooting when they shouldn't be shooting, and it was something that we addressed at half time. In terms of, if we want to score goals, you've got to give it to people who are in a better position to score. It's the most basic thing in football, is putting it on a plate for someone else who can just score, and that's obviously what we did in the second half with Rosa's little pass into Kiko. And the whole kind of 2 weeks I've been on Rosa of getting behind. If you make the run, I'll pass it to you. If you I will find you. I want you to get it in the box. I want you to do your business in the box. And yeah, it was a great run by her. And I saw her when I picked up the ball. I saw Kiko in front of me, and I was like, should I just play it through to Kiko? And then I realised that she'd gone offside. So then I was like, okay, no, I have to find another pass. And yeah, it was a great run by Rosa. And yeah, to just pass that off to Kiko, it was just so unselfish from her, and put it on a plate basically. And I think maybe if we hadn't addressed it so much at half time or throughout the week, would Rosa have shot rather than play that little pass? Because she was in a position to shoot as well. It was, but obviously the 100% kind of goal was to the left, and she passed it. So yeah, I think we're building in terms of our final third play, and we're starting to understand each other a bit more. But I was a little bit disappointed with Leicester, to be honest. I did expect a little bit more from them in terms of, I mean, they have a game plan. And that's to try and pick you off in the counter attack and try and go long and use their speed. But I just expected a little bit more urgency. But I mean, it doesn't look like they've given up. I don't think they've given up. That's not how I felt in the game. Like, they were still getting around, they were still fighting, they were still battling, they were still putting their body in front of the line just to stop the goal. But I just felt that they didn't want to win. And I think, like, if you're in a relegation battle, you need to try and win now. And obviously with West Ham getting a point puts them further away. I think if they'd come out a bit more and tried a bit more, then maybe they could have got something else from the game against us.
A big 3 points for you, though. And then next up, you've got Arsenal in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup on Sunday.
Yeah, we're going to go there and we're going to give it all, and we're going to go to win. We have to, we go with that in every game, and that's how we're going to approach the game.
Yeah, go get them. Thank you, Fran. Thank you, Beth. And thank you to everyone watching and listening as ever. Make sure to hit subscribe, and we'll speak to you all next week.